Lord.
Good morning and welcome to Today in L.A. I'm Mike Amos. He's Bill Rice Jr. as we start a Thursday, the 17th day of December. I've got, on my fingers, I've got today, which is the, well, that's our phone coming in here, Will. Good morning, you're on Today in L.A. How you doing?
Hey, morning.
Where you calling from?
Great Beach, Florida.
Great Beach, Florida. Are we alive and clear down in Great Beach this morning?
Cold down there this morning. How cold is it in Troy? About 26?
It's pretty cold. Did we get a temperature, Steve, this morning? I know this is it's going to be freezing cold tomorrow morning too. I would say it's right at freezing temperature.
They're expecting a lot of snow up northeast, a foot of snow in New York and New Jersey, Pennsylvania.
How about in Alabama? Do you think we'll get any snow? Wouldn't that be something? What now?
37.
37 degrees in downtown Troy this morning, and hope everybody's staying warm this morning. And of course, freezing temperatures this weekend, so it's going to get
colder. If this was a week later, a lot of people in America would have a white Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. And when I try to find my temperature on my phone, it fails me. It fails me every time. I don't know why. I got to find out why.
It's saying Christmas Eve, the low is 36 and 50% chance of rain, so I guess it's out. I mean, it possibly could have some flurries, maybe.
Is that down there or where?
No, that's in Troy.
Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something to have a white Christmas? That would.
The low on Christmas Day is going to be cold. It's going to be 30, and the high is 48. So that's going to be a cold Christmas.
I like a cold Christmas.
Mike, Troy won a big one last night. They led all the way. In fact, they led at one time by 15 points as they defeated the yuppie coach from Mountain Brook, who now is the head coach at Sanford.
They defeated the great Bucky McMillan. I was shocked. Sanford was a favorite at Troy and had just barely gotten beat up on the road at Georgia and won by 20 at Belmont. That's by far the best win Coach Frost has had since he's been a head coach at Troy. He only won 9 games last year.
Yeah.
And now they've won 3 in a row. They beat North Alabama. They beat some Central Arkansas NAIA school, and now they beat Sanford at home. They're 4-3, and will travel to Auburn to play Bruce Pearl and the SEC team on Saturday at 1 o'clock. That game will be on the SEC Network. Nobody else watches.
SEC Network, Troy and Auburn this Saturday. So it will start at 1 o'clock. And I wonder if you wanted to go up there, could you get any tickets?
I don't know. Your whole family's going to be in town, so that'd be kind of rude for you to leave. For 4 or 5 hours, but you would do.
Well, let me tell you this.
I don't know how many best friends' weddings and all kinds of events you missed from Troy Cable over the years doing all those free games.
Oh, okay, yeah, you make me feel bad this morning, don't you? I will say this, that
I'm glad you did it, Mike.
You're exactly right, and of course, last night, Mike, your mama made me feel so bad I did not even go to the game, and I had front row seats. And I didn't even go to the game because your mama had me scared of this virus. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I can understand a basketball arena. Anything enclosed, I would have more of an issue. Anything outdoor, like a baseball, football.
How about church? How about church, Mike? The First Baptist Church.
I mean, we've only been to church one time. They only allow.
Merry Christmas from Stephen Sanders Trucking. Merry Christmas from Wiley Sanders Truck Line. Are you ready for these
yes,
songs?
Yes, sir. Bring the toys to me.
Let's have fun. Merry Christmas. Let's have fun. Hurry, boys and girls. Hurry. It's what time of the year?
Christmas time.
And what do we say?
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas to you from Wiley Sanders Truck Line and Stephen Sanders Trucking.
Let's make this the biggest toy drive ever. Townsend's, Troy Cable, Trojan Detail. Those are your drop-off points.
Merry Christmas from the staff and the management of Troy Cablevision, and of course Dick Freeman, Vicky, and the family wishes each and every one of you a safe and Merry Christmas from this wonderful place here that has been in Troy. Gosh, I reckon since the late 1990s on this go around. Troy Cable, Freemans have owned Troy Cable, and that's one of the top cable networks in the country. And also Merry Christmas from the staff and the management of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines in downtown Troy, Alabama, and of course one of the outstanding local businesses in town. And right now, we want you to go and buy a toy or take a like new toy to the big trailer which is located right across the street from us here on South Brunny Street.
Troy Cable's been back since the late 80s, mid 80s.
But it's Santa Claus, and we want to make sure that we provide Santa Claus for a lot of needy youngsters this Christmas. So that trailer is located right across the street from us here on South Brunny Street. And bring a bike, a tricycle, or whatever toys that you have or would like to purchase and donate to this wonderful Santa Christmas put on by the folks at Sanders Truck Lines right here.
That's more important than ever this year because so many people have had economic hardships due to COVID disruptions.
No question about it.
If you're able to help out, it would be even more important this year.
And then, of course,
I tell you what, Sanders has a star with that Halsteady guy, the Jeffrey Bennett guy. He is a guy that was born to be on the camera.
You're right.
He is great.
He does a great job.
Everything he does. I watch his show every once in a while. I mean, he looks like he's been doing it for 30, 40 years.
He's very, very good, no question. They call him Hoss. What do they call him? Hoss Daddy?
Halsteady, yeah.
Hoss Daddy.
He's a great star on television as well, but Halsteady.
That's right. He's been bragging about you. Look, let's brag about somebody else this morning. Auburn's looking for a football coach. War Eagle Auburn is looking for a football coach. They've just got through paying their former coach, Malzahn, $22 million to step down from his position. Wouldn't you like to have your employee offer you that kind of deal? Auburn looking for a new football coach. And let me tell you this, you need to get this here. If you can get Lane Kiffin, Mike, you know more about this than I do. But if you get Lane Kiffin, you'll have the exposure of a head football coach already ahead of the game. How about that?
Well, I mean, you're also getting a guy with a great offensive mind. I mean, a guy that knows how to score points, a guy that would do anything he could to beat his former boss, Nick Saban. Of course, Saban kind of cut him loose before the national championship game. I still think that cost Alabama the national championship that year. So there's definitely some bad blood there.
Well, you know the thing about it, his players love him, and the student body loves him. I mean, he was a hit when he coached at Alabama, wasn't he?
Oh, well, I mean, he was a hit as far as he liked to go out to the bars and.
Wait a minute, I don't know if you need to throw that in or not. You know, he just was the students liked him a lot, and he happened to be in places where the students went sometimes.
You know, Troy was led last night in basketball. This is interesting. It makes you think that Stanford didn't have a lot of size. Troy dominated in the paint, out-rebounded by over 10 or 12. Kyle Waters, who's 6'7" for Troy, had 21 points. Zay Williams, who could be a star player out of Parker in Birmingham, had points. He's 6'9". And then Nick Stampley had 17 points. He's 6'7".
Yeah, that's
so those
good.
Guys right there had the majority of the points last night for Troy.
Yeah. Who are some other guys? Who are some players that were on the same team last year, Mike? I haven't noticed that.
All three of those guys I just mentioned were on the team last year.
All right, and which one went to the Magnet School in Montgomery?
That's Williams. That's Desmond Williams. That's the point guard.
Is he still on the team?
Yeah, he's still there. He went to Lamb.
All right. So how many players did the coach keep from last year?
I think he only kept 4.
So he kept 4, and he had scholarships for 11 more. Is that right?
You can have 13 on scholarship.
13 on scholarship. And they look pretty good. But how about the kid from Pinson Valley, the big scorer that averaged 38 points a game coming into college?
You know, he didn't play as much last night. He was starting pretty much throughout the year, but they kind of played another guy at the point, a junior college guy named Keeper Punter, 6'5", 175 out of the Bronx, New York. He's out of Tyler Junior.
The Bronx, he's from the Bronx, New York, playing at Troy.
Yeah, that's his background.
All right, now Troy plays Auburn on Saturday. Do they get a break at Christmas, or what's the deal?
Yeah, they play Auburn Saturday, and then they come back and play a school called Carver, which I've never heard of. I've heard of Carver High School out of Montgomery, but this is a college called Carver College.
Yeah.
On the 28th.
And when they play them on the 28th?
And then how about this?
That would be 3 days after Christmas. They're going to play.
On New Year's Day, they'll be going to Boone, North Carolina, to play in Appalachian State. Can you imagine how cold it's going to be up there?
On New Year's Day, they'll play a conference game at Boone. Well, they might.
We need to recap recruiting. Recruiting was, the best class in Troy history yesterday. All 3 and 4 stars. Have you ever heard of such?
Well, I tell you, I'm anxious to hear you talk about them. One of them is a kid from Pike Liberal Arts named Scott Taylor Renfro.
Yeah, I
They'll put the ball down at the 44-yard line. This will be a 53-yard or 54-yard kick. Scott Taylor Renfro, the youngster from out here at Banks, Alabama. I've been facetious, from Murphy Street in Troy, Alabama. Will do the kicking. Snap back, touchdown. The kick is up. It is high enough. It is far enough. It is good. Scott Taylor Renfro just hit a 55-yard field goal to win the game.
You know, he was 5 for 7 in field goals like last year at Pike Liberal Arts. And the year before, he was 5 for 7 in field goals. And that's not bad. And I'm not saying that's a negative thing, but he was rated one of the top 15 kickers in the country. I'm just saying, I mean, if you have a guy that's top 15 kicker in the country at Pike Liberal Arts, how are you not kicking more field goals?
Well, they were scoring.
Well, they were scoring touchdowns. You're right. They were scoring touchdowns.
You just scored a lot of touchdowns and not trying to kick field goals?
That's exactly right.
Yeah, that's right.
Those numbers, though, to be a top 15 kicker, like I would think you would be 20 for 25 or something.
Hey, listen, I've watched him kick. All you got to see is how high the ball goes, how far the ball goes, how accurate the ball goes. He can kick. And that, I know, but you're still. But
look at the numbers. Those are like, I mean, that's like, golly. I mean, you'd think an average kicker in a high school season, 11, 12 games would kick 15, 20 field goals.
Well, how many field goals has Alabama's field goal kicker kicked this year?
Well, I'll tell you what's more impressive. How many how many extra points did he kick? That would tell you a lot.
That tells you a lot.
They said he was 77 for 81.
That's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, 70, what do you say? No, extra points, 47 out of 51 extra points he made, but all 4 of the PATs missed were blocked.
Okay.
Well, they look at these kickers at kicker camps, and so it's. I've watched him, and he also can. He kicks the ball into the end zone on kickoffs. I think he's this is one of the best kicker signees Troy's ever had.
I mean, I'm definitely happy for him. I've known his dad his whole life. I mean, I'm happy for the kid, but I'm just saying most scholarships are not given to kickers. I mean, most of the time, kickers usually walk on and earn a scholarship, usually. It said help lead play liberal arts at the Alabama Independent School Association 3A State Championship. Made 5 out of 7 field goals, 47 out of 51 extra points. 4 PATs were blocked. This is the biggest thing to me, though. 81% of his kickoffs went for touchbacks.
Boy, that was really good, too. You're exactly right.
So it's definitely it is a big deal for a kicker to get a scholarship. So
well, it looks like to me, watching him, that he could kick anywhere. I mean, or he could compete for any job. Like you say, they usually bring in good walk-ons. I mean, it comes down to 1 or 2 guys competing, but he would be one of those 1 or 2 guys that could compete at Auburn, Alabama, Troy. So awesome, and from a great family. And Pike Liberal Arts, their quarterback, I understand, is one of the best baseball players in America, high school baseball players.
Yes, that's right.
And so I don't even think he looks at himself as a football player, but the few games I saw Pike Liberal Arts play last year, that guy could play quarterback on the college level.
Mike can do what a lot of them.
The state championship, he won the game. Did you see him go 95 yards? That's run 4-4 for sure.
He can run it. He can. He's kind of a gunslinger. His passing mechanics might need work, but his arm is plenty strong to throw.
Let's say he's one of the top 10 baseball players in America. Just think what his signing bonus would be.
Well, true. But don't y'all think that he could play Division I college football? I think
he might can, but
if I was Troy, I would be looking at him as a Pike Liberal Arts signee too.
Saban headlines.
Renfro is a 3-star recruit, which is number 15 kicker in the country according to 24/7 Sports. He's the number 31 kicker in the country, according to ESPN. He had a great-grandfather named C.H. Bishop, played quarterback at Mississippi State, and a great-uncle named James Green played defensive back at Mississippi College and later in the Canadian Football League.
Golly, I've never heard of any of those guys.
Would that be on the Renfro side or on the Weiss side? I didn't know they had.
I don't know.
Al was a great player at Charles Henderson.
The Renfros come from the Shorty Renfro clan in Troy and Union Springs, and of course there's a lot of other Renfros out there. And right now the headlines say in early signing day, meet Auburn's football signees for 2021 recruiting class, and they've got them listed.
Auburn only got.
Our history is woven with the stories of those we serve. At Max, we've been a good community partner for 65 years. Max is dedicated to providing dependable financial services and to supporting our communities. We volunteer our time and share our resources. As a credit union, we've returned millions of dollars back to our members, local nonprofits, and small businesses. Max is honored to be a part of your story. We look forward to serving you for years to come.
Merry Christmas from Stephen Sanders Trucking. Merry Christmas from Wiley Sanders Truck Line. Are you ready for these
Yes,
toys?
sir. Bring the toys to me. Merry
Let's have
Christmas.
fun. Merry Christmas. Let's have fun. Hurry, boys and girls. Hurry. It's what time of the year?
Christmas time.
And what do we say?
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you from Wiley Sanders Truck Line and Stephen Sanders Trucking.
Let's make this the biggest toy drive ever. Townsend's, Troy Cable, Trojan Detail, those are your drop-off points.
Trojan Auto Parts of Troy, home of Napa Know-How. Stop by and see owners Mike and Melissa Kilcrease and their Napa Know-How team with over 100 years of combined experience. We're the only locally owned parts store in Pike County, and we're fully stocked and ready to serve you. We pride ourselves on being your go-to parts store, not only for the simple items, but we specialize in those hard-to-find items as well. Trojan Auto Parts, the right part at the right price at the right time. Napa, a name you've trusted here in Troy since 1945.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
So you think he's healthy? I wonder why he's
we're back.
I wonder why he's leaving. Back to our show, and we're talking recruiting this morning on our show, and of course, right now there are counting today, and this is the 17th day of December. We've got today 17, 18 tomorrow, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. All right, that means we've got what, 19,
Christmas Eve is next Thursday.
I know, but we're talking about shopping days left to Christmas.
I need them all, too, because I haven't done it.
And we want you to make sure that you shop Troy this Christmas.
I will.
But if you counted today, the 9th, and counted, which is the 17th day, the 17th, the 18th, the 19th, the 20th, the 21st, the 22nd, the 23rd, the 24th, you've got 8 shopping days left to Christmas. And we wanted to make sure that you buy your Christmas items right here in Troy, Alabama, and Pike County. And we appreciate all of our people out there, friends that are making a living selling products right here in Troy, Alabama. And, of course, we appreciate my good friends. I've got 2 cakes I ordered yesterday. One of them a German chocolate, the other one Italian cream. I'm excited about that.
Where'd you get those?
From a lady who is Miss Lee, who is a very good cake maker. I'll tell you that right now.
I want some.
Well, if you,
she'll make some for me?
Yes, sir, she will. And of course, a wonderful lady.
The greatest numbers in a high school running back in history. In 2016, LaDamian Webb was Mr. Football as a junior. He rushed for 3,242 yards, scored an Alabama High School Athletic Association record 53 touchdowns.
53 touchdowns in one season.
That's amazing.
Totaling 4,000 all-purpose yards. In the championship game alone, he rushed for 359 yards and 5 touchdowns on 51 carries.
Did they win the game?
Yeah, they won the state championship.
Yeah.
And this kid's coming to Troy?
Yeah, after originally signing with Mississippi State, he went to Jones Junior College. Then he transferred to Florida State, where he rushed for 369 yards this season.
So he was a sophomore. Was he a redshirt sophomore, or what would you call him?
He was a sophomore, so he'll be a junior going to Troy.
So he'll have 2 years to play at Troy. Is that right?
And we don't know if he'll be able to play immediately or not.
No, yeah, all transfers can play immediately. They got announced by the NCAA.
Yeah. So at least, wait a minute now. All right, if is he classified as a junior or a sophomore?
I believe he's classified as a junior.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like it.
Right.
He went to junior college.
If he's a junior, he'll have 2 years left.
Junior college, yeah, he went to junior college in 2019. He went to Florida State in 2020. I would think he would be a junior.
Yeah.
And Mississippi State.
Can you give us some reports on other players that Troy actually signed yesterday?
I listened to the press conference yesterday. Chip Lindsey did a press conference about recruiting. Listen to this, Dad. I mean, I don't even know what to even say about this. He claims that he met with all the seniors on the roster this year and talked to them about coming back. And he said that almost every single one of the seniors said they were going to come back and play next year.
Isn't that amazing?
So that means you're going to have so many.
I know that. I've been telling you that it's going to be
running back. I mean, all these different positions. I mean, the NCAA's granted it. I mean, everybody's been on scholarship.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's right.
You got to kick some guys off or tell them to go.
Exactly.
Or do something.
Troy's going to have more running backs than they're going to know what to do with.
Oh, shoot. The thing is, the wide receivers, they're going to have Todd back. They're going to have Marshall back. They're going to have Eifert back.
And you know what? And then those Giants, the Auburns, the Auburns, the Alabamas, the Florida States, of this world are sitting back looking and says, who at Troy do we want? Do we want that number 2 that led the nation in tackles, or do we want that quarterback? They're looking back, looking at all these other rosters across the country and saying, let's look at these guys.
Anybody
again.
can transfer and play immediately, so it's going to be free agency galore.
As good as our linebacker Marshall is, ladies and gentlemen, he is a first-team All-American, going to be probably a first-team All-American this year. And he has 2 more years of eligibility at Troy, his junior and senior year. I don't know how long we can keep him, but at 5'9", 210 pounds, I don't know if the pros will be after him or not. What do you think?
No.
I mean, numbers alone, I feel like he'll probably get drafted in the 6th or 7th round. I feel like he'll play special teams. I mean, the guy's just that phenomenal of a player.
All right, I'm looking at Alabama's list, and I'm looking at Auburn's list, and I'm looking for Troy's list and can't find it. And I've got the Dothan Eagle and the Montgomery Advertiser.
I got Troy's list right now. Troy might have found potentially a new quarterback in this Taylor Powell kid out of Fayetteville, Arkansas. He's a transfer out of Missouri. He's a grad junior transfer, so that means he'll have 2 seasons to play.
All right, what's his name again? Tell me his name, because I watched Missouri play this year. Did he play for Missouri this year?
He sat out the season and did not play this year, so he'll have 2 years left. He played against Troy at the game you went to in Missouri, though.
Yeah, I thought he was a redheaded kid. Is he a redheaded kid?
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust.
That's fine.
Arkansas Prep Player of the Year out of Fayetteville High School in 2017.
In 2017, Troy has just signed the Arkansas Player of the Year in 2017, and he's coming to Troy to try to play quarterback. And I guess a lot of competition. What do you think?
How many years does Gunnar Watson have left?
He's got 3 more years. 2 or 3.
Well, yeah, I mean, if he wants to keep, I mean, he could be, I guess, another sophomore again, redshirt sophomore, like he was this year.
And I'll tell you another break. And
Watson's a guy that needs to be pushed, though. I mean, he's a guy that throws a lot of interceptions in the red zone and makes a lot of mistakes you just can't make as a quarterback. You gotta, I mean, he's not a bad in the pocket. He stands in there and he makes pretty decent throws, but he also makes horrible decisions on interceptions.
Well, I'll tell you this: Troy needs a guy that can run and pass. Got to have a little speed where they can get out of trouble. We need that kind of quarterback in my book.
This kid finished 5th all-time in Arkansas history passing yardage. He threw for 10,413 yards and 113 touchdowns.
Gosh, and that was in high school. Who did he sign with? Missouri out of high school, or who did he sign with?
He signed with Missouri out of high school.
And that was what year, do you know?
That was going to be 2017.
Let me ask, do you worry that you're having so many transfers come in that you're not really able to build a culture or team chemistry, with players that are with each other for 3 or 4 or 5 years? Or do you think that there's enough high school kids, traditional signees, that are coming in? I know that's a bit... Didn't you say at one time at the end of Coach Blakeney's career, wasn't he just going really heavily junior college players and kind of didn't...
His last class, he ended up signing 18 junior college guys and 3 freshmen, and one of those was John Johnson, the late great John Johnson.
Yeah,
was one of those 3 high school kids. But Chip Lindsey has got to win now. He doesn't have a choice. This is the biggest season of his coaching career coming up. He 5 and 7, 5 and 6. Troy's program was played. We talked about the other day, 7th best in the Sun Belt right now. I mean, you got to do all you can to win.
Yeah.
I mean, if he doesn't win 7 games next year, he won't have a job.
All right. Well, what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go over the Troy list, then talk a little bit about the players that are coming back. They're going to land everybody back. Look at that Troy's receivers, number 2, Mike. That young man is, if he comes back, that's going to help Troy a lot. And number 6 and number 1.
Yeah, that's Geiger, that's Reggie Todd, and that's Marshall.
Well, Marshall's number 2.
No, Todd's number 2, Marshall's number 6, Geiger's number 1.
Okay, all right. Well, you're talking about the receiver Marshall, not the linebacker Marshall. Is that right?
I'm talking about, Marshall is number 6, the wide receiver.
Okay. All right, let us know. Tell us who Troy. How many did they sign yesterday? That's very important.
At 18, I can go over everybody they signed if you want.
All right, if you will, let's do that real quick.
All right, they signed a kid out of Stark, Florida, safety Sterling Roberts, 6'1", 205.
Okay.
A bandit linebacker named Philip Lee. Apparently, he's a good pass rusher, 6'4", 215, out of Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay.
Scott Taylor Renfro, we talked about him to start the show, local kid from Troy, 6'1", 176, kicker. This is a very interesting story as well. They signed a running back out of Tuscaloosa County named Damian Taylor. Maybe your brother can tell you about him, Bill. But he played at Tuscaloosa County, a program that's been down. But his senior year, this is 7A, keep in mind, he rushed for 1,800 yards.
Yeah.
5'10", 180.
Okay.
They went to Bainbridge, Georgia, and signed a big offensive lineman, 6'4", 220. Let's see what his name is. Lawson.
He's a defensive end type. Is that right? Defensive end?
Lawson Chandler's his name.
Okay.
So he's a guy that could probably come in and help Troy. Offensive line, I feel like somewhere they need improvement. Don't you think, Dad?
Yeah, no question. But this guy's not an offensive lineman if he just weighs 220.
I think he's probably 320. That was probably a typo.
Yeah, 6'4", 320.
320, okay,
Then they went to Stone Mountain, Georgia, and got a kid that was at Iowa Western. Troy gets a lot of guys out of Iowa Western.
They've got a contact evidently out there. You're right.
There, yeah. And this kid's name is Deshaun Stoudemire, 6'1", 175. So, cornerback type
as
well.
Yeah.
To play wide receiver. After that, this is the guy I'm excited about. Evan Schultz, Roger Schultz's son.
Roger Schultz's son signs with Troy. Good.
Yeah, Roger was all SEC at Alabama, and of course worked in the athletic department at Troy. It's pretty big kid that Roger had. 6'4", 295, starting center at St. Paul High School.
I'll take every St. Paul guy I get. They're the defending state champion, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. You know, Roger said, I read something about him, he's also starting first baseman on the baseball team.
That's great.
Yeah, he's got a good prospect.
That's great. I'm glad he's coming to Troy. All right, who else?
So after this, they got a guy named Taylor Powell. He mentioned the transfer from Missouri that's going to be battling for the quarterback.
All right. Now let me hear that name one more time. What's his name? And that quarterback.
Taylor Powell.
Caleb Powell. Is that right?
No, Taylor Powell.
Taylor Powell is the quarterback, transfer from the University of Missouri, and he's supposed to be the real deal. He did not play for Missouri this year. Is that right?
Yeah, he decided to opt out and transfer.
Oh, he opted out. Now, did he play any? You said he did play against Troy, didn't you?
He played against Troy last year.
Okay.
Jeff Lindsay recruited him apparently when he was at Auburn.
Okay, I got you.
And this is an interesting kid here named Peyton Higgins, 5'10", 180. Played at Mars Hill Bible. They've won 2 straight.
Take every one of them you can get from Mars Hill Bible, buddy. They're good.
2 straight state championships. This guy totaled 2,477 all-purpose yards last year with 29 touchdowns. He rushed for 1,500 yards and 19 touchdowns. And then he caught 17 passes for 377 yards. He's a kick returner, punt returner. I mean, it seems like this guy can do it all. They're going to play him in the slot at Troy.
Well, that's good. I like him. I like a winner. He's a winner.
Troy continues to recruit well in North Alabama. That's something they've done a lot. They went to Augusta, Georgia, and they got a linebacker named Jordan Stringer, 6'2", 215.
Mm-hmm.
Take any, you know what? A lot of people claim that Georgia is the best football playing state of them all, and we'll take as many as we can get from Georgia. Go ahead.
They went to Bainbridge, Georgia, and got a quarterback, 6'1", 180, from Bainbridge High School. His name is Quade Hawkins.
Oh, I love that name, Quade Hawkins. I like it. But he's going to put some meat on his bones. He can't play at 180 pounds, can he?
No, he's definitely a guy I would think he'll be redshirted, but he's a 3-star prospect, so that's good.
Is he a dual threat quarterback, or are they going to keep moving him somewhere else?
Yeah, he's a runner and a thrower.
You know, Bainbridge used to come here every year and have their week-long preseason camp. They used to come here every year, and they'd have 100, 150 kids with them. It's a good program. Bainbridge is a good program. They're not quite as good as Valdosta, but they have to play Valdosta.
And then this is a high school we know very well, Etowah High School. Troy went and got a wide receiver, Ollie Finch Jr., 6'2", 175. In his career at Etowah, he caught 325 passes.
Ooh, boy.
2,600 yards.
Whoa.
2,600 yards. So
and that's right out underneath the breadth of Jacksonville State, too, isn't it? Right out there underneath the breadth of Jacksonville State.
We shouldn't compete with Jacksonville State anymore.
Oh, I know it. You're right. You're right.
Alabama's had a lot of great players from Etowah, though.
I know all about Etowah High School.
Troy continues to hit North Alabama. They get another kid out of Harvest, Alabama, Sparkman High School, a cornerback named Caleb Branshaw, 6', 185, another 3-star.
Well, that's good.
Keep in mind, all these guys are 3 stars or 4 stars.
Yeah. And, 3 stars is what most the SEC, other than the Alabamas and LSU.
Well, I don't hear a lot of linemen in there, though, Michael. What do we got some more?
I guess I got everybody coming back. They don't have to worry about it.
All right. Tell us any more signings.
This is the guy I'm excited about, Jarris Williams, a kid out of Blunt High School in Mobile, Alabama, another running back. So keep in mind, this is the 3rd running back we've talked about.
And we already had 4 or 5, didn't we?
Yep.
Yeah, he rushed for 1,400 yards last year, 1,700 yards as a junior. So this kid will be coming in.
He's probably the type running back to come out of Mobile, the Mobile area. Blunt had a real good team this year, Mike.
He's 5'10", 192. And then we mentioned this guy. This is an amazing story. Kyron Griffin Awesome. He's going to be a sophomore in the classroom. He's 6'3", 175. He's the kid that was in the Marines for 7 years.
Oh, gosh. We're recruiting the Marine Corps.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Super Fi. I guarantee you there were some people hollering Super Fi everywhere when they got him, didn't they?
I mean, Jack Hawkins was a Marine, so he caught 61 passes for 754 yards last year in his one season at Palomar College in California. So this kid's coming from New Orleans, originally from California, to play at Troy.
Boy, oh boy, a lot of skill players. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of them.
That tells you right there, though, this guy, I mean, you're talking about a guy that should be great in the locker room, a former Marine from 7 years.
Yeah.
We mentioned LaDamian Webb. He's the guy that put up all the crazy numbers.
All right, go over that now. Go over that one more time. So, and what I like, he's a local guy from right here, probably no further than 50 yards, maybe 60 miles away.
Yeah, he played at Beauregard High School, 5'8", 190. This will be his junior year, it looks like. This year alone, he rushed for 369 yards at Florida State on 69 carries in 7 games. So he played this year, and then he was, of course, state Mr. Football in Alabama in 2016.
Well, I tell you what, people that don't know where Beauregard is, it's 10 miles east of Opelika, or south of Opelika. So it's right there, right in the middle of Auburn country. What could Auburn have done with that guy, Mike? They could have used him quite a bit.
Well, they got Tank though. Tank. They don't need anybody else.
Well, this guy, when he played in high school, ladies and gentlemen, out of Beauregard High School, was the best football player in Alabama, and I think he rushed for over 3,200 yards.
Well, it sounds like he averaged over 5 yards a carry at Florida State.
Exactly right.
I mean, you called his games, did you?
Yeah, I did. I called. I don't know if Charles Simpson played them or not. I don't think they played against him. I don't think. But all right, who else, Mike? I'll get it.
The next guy who I'm happy about is a guy named Julian Peterson, 6'3", 295, defensive tackle. That's what Troy really needs.
Yeah, that's right.
Out of Pinson Valley. Of course, he's played on back-to-back state champions.
Boy, we'll take as many of those guys as we can get. I mean, championship teams.
And then probably the top guy out of the class is a guy that was originally a 4-star out of Rome, Georgia. He'll be a sophomore, transfer from Florida State. 6'2", 271, Jamarcus Chapman is going to be on Troy's roster at defensive tackle. So he opted out the whole 2020 season due to COVID-19. Decided not to play. So that is a big get at defensive tackle for Troy.
All right, now, we used to be able to say this. All right, we've signed, especially during the early signing, Troy would have a great opportunity to sign these players now. All right, they're signed to a scholarship to a prospective school, or Detroit, let's say. Let's say they had 18 signees. Can anybody come in there and mess with those guys? Can they after they sign?
These guys have signed on the dotted line.
All right, they have to. That's right. They have to come. So nobody can.
It sounds like for 1 year though. I mean, with this unlimited free agency, I mean, next year they can transfer wherever they want. It's crazy.
Yeah, but I'll tell you right now, you're exactly right. This might very well be, ladies and gentlemen, the best recruiting class in Troy history. I mean, there's some quality players that you just called out, Mike. Quality players from very good programs.
Yeah. Florida, Georgia.
Lindsay said they're going to hold out probably 5-6 more scholarships. Maybe something will happen in February. They've also got a couple more days this week as well. So you can see more transfers coming in. You can see a lot of stuff happening.
Yeah. All right, let's see who this is on the hold, Mike. We'll come right back to you. Good morning. You're on Today in L.A. How you doing?
Hey, Mike, I enjoyed my visit to Troy yesterday.
Well, I hope so. I hope you didn't put anybody in jail for a long time.
No.
You come in here from Ozark putting all our good folks in jail.
No, it's Christmas.
Yeah, it's Christmas. You're right. It's Christmas. I can hear you right now. Said, son, on a normal day you would be in trouble, but it's Christmas. Merry Christmas. So we're gonna let you ride.
Yes.
All right, let me bring Mike Amos in here, Mike, and we'll have everything where we want it. All right, we're gonna go from here to here to here. I got both of you. Is that right?
Yeah, you got me here.
Got Mike Amos calling in from Grayton Beach, Florida, and I've got Will Matthews. Here comes the judge. Here comes the judge. And people saw you up close in person. I worry about that, Will. People know who you are now by being on TV.
I think a lot of people know me. I don't know if it's good or bad.
Well, let me tell you, we're talking about recruits today, and Mike, of course, Troy, I would think they're jumping up and down. Their recruiting coordinator is a full-time job. He has a full-time job, and that's what he does, is recruit players, and he did a heck of a job. I still think somebody needs to go by our grocery store, Mike, Publix, and pick up that guy who was bagging groceries I saw there the other day.
Yeah.
And, I told you his name was Nixon. Ladies and gentlemen, the kid is 6'5" and weighs 300 pounds. It looks like a Hercules. And he's bagging groceries, but he played for Alabama State. And I would think that somebody could transfer from Alabama State to Troy if they wanted to.
That's right.
Of course, his brother was Mr. Football in the state of Alabama and played at Vanderbilt for 4 years.
Wow. Yeah, he sounds like let's get him at Troy.
All right, Will Matthews, we're fixing to see who Alabama signed. It says here.
Mike, they signed everybody they wanted yesterday.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, I want to make one point about recruiting. I'm so grateful that they let the high school football season continue, unlike the baseball season last year, remember?
Yeah.
Or basketball. So what happened? These kids got a chance to show their talents, Mike.
Yeah, that's right.
And they got scholarship opportunities because of it. And they're all fine. Nothing happened to any of these kids. So you got a full year of tape on these kids.
Yeah. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I sacrificed last night. My wife sort of helped me out a little bit. Says, "Hey, what's important? You going to a basketball game or somebody? Are you catching this virus that's going around?" Well, I still might catch the virus, and God only knows. But at the same time, I was very conscientious about being around a large crowd during this virus season. Rice, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the numbers have just gone through the roof in the last month or so. There's 4,200 new cases yesterday, 3,800 and something the day before. There's so many new cases happening now, Mike.
Is it because we're getting a lot more testing, or what is it?
That's part of it. You know what I think it is? This virus is a coronavirus. You know what one of the coronaviruses is? The common cold.
Yeah, okay.
So I think the virus is seasonal, like what? When do people get colds?
That's right.
In the fall and the winter.
Like today.
And so there has been a huge jump. It has something to do with the change in the weather. That's just my opinion guess. But anyway, getting back to my point, there are so many new cases per day that if this clip keeps up for another 30 days or 60 days to say the middle of February, which is still cold and flu season, you're going to be getting very close to herd immunity levels in America and Alabama, which they say is 70% of the population. Right now in Alabama, about 6.5% of our state has tested positive, Mike. If you took 6.5%, but that's just officially had a test and got a piece of paper, right?
Yeah.
Well, we know that everybody that's been, there are a lot more people that have had the virus than have tested for it.
Sure.
In other words, they didn't know they had it or they didn't bother to go. So if you say that there are right now 6.5% of the people have tested positive and are confirmed, how many have really had the virus? I would say maybe 20%, 25, 30%. Well, we're getting so many new cases now that you project forward 60 days, and you've theoretically got to where 70% of this state has already had the virus, and the experts say that if 70% of the population has had the virus, you have herd immunity and the virus dies on its own even before the vaccine. Most people have gotten the vaccine. So I think this is actually, in a weird way, maybe encouraging, because we might be getting closer to herd immunity.
Yeah. Well, nobody studied it around here, around this studio, any more than you have, and of course, it's
But I mean, the other point is, I mean, I saw something. The number of positive cases, 4,200 yesterday, is way more than you had back in April. The number of hospitalizations are way, so we are at the worst ever of the virus 9 months after the virus hit.
Well, I tell you, that's
looks like bad news for Judson College. I'm reading an article about the Baptist affiliated school for women in Marion. Looks like they're going to be closing their doors if they don't have any kind of financial assistance.
Yeah.
It is the 5th oldest women's college.
I'm very familiar with them. Believe it or not, I used to officiate basketball up there.
Founded in 1838, so
Well, you know what? There are going to be a lot more private little colleges that close their doors if things don't change.
No question about it. But I tell you what, they've got a lot of alumni out there, and hopefully they'll save this great women's school, which is located right across the street from Marion Institute. It says Saban signs another top.
Alabama had the number one recruiting class in the country.
Number one recruiting class in the country, and
I guarantee Georgia's got one too.
Yeah. All right, good. Let's.
They were number 2, I believe.
All right, Will. Before we start going over these folks, you got anything right off the bat you want to talk about?
I tell you this, I saw something. Auburn was the 13th out of 14th in recruiting this year at the SEC.
All right, you know, they were last in the SEC, even behind Vanderbilt.
Vandy edged them out for last.
Did they?
Well, anybody that signed with Auburn doesn't know who their coach is going to be. That's interesting.
Nobody signed with Auburn that was worth a flip, so you know.
Well, we don't know that. We don't know.
Well, we do, Mike. They are rated. I'm just talking about, you know.
Yeah.
The players they signed are committed. It's the worst Auburn recruiting class in years.
So now we might know why this guy was fired and why they gonna give him $22 million. Is that the story?
Well, Mike, they knew the recruiting was doing bad. They knew that, you know.
All right, let's take a look at Alabama's recruiting. And Mike, tell us about it.
Well, I mean, they had the number one class pretty much according to all the different sites. There's so many different recruiting sites though these days. They got 2 LSU guys to flip yesterday, 2 4-stars.
You mean to flip to Alabama and can play right away?
Yeah, well, I mean, they're high school kids.
Okay, I got you.
So, you know, number one in recruiting. I guess you want me to go down the list?
Well, just quickly.
Who jumps out at you? Who do you think are the can't miss players?
All right.
Well, I mean, the biggest kid is a guy named Kool-Aid. Vincent Valley. He's probably their top guy. The quarterback.
Yeah. All right. What's his name?
Let's see. I'll pull everything up real quick.
I know they got 2 twin brothers that are highly touted offensive linemen.
They got the
Brockermeyers.
Yeah, Brockermeyers. One of them 6'6", 283. He's the offensive tackle. His dad played at Texas and played the pros for 12
years. Can you believe that? Can you believe that Texas let them get away?
That'd be like John Hanna's children going somewhere else besides Alabama.
They got the best player out of. I'll just do your 5-stars. They got 6 5-stars. J.C. Latham out of IMG Academy out of Bradenton, Florida. 6'6", 305 offensive tackle. Another 5-star, Tommy Brockenmeyer, 6'6", 283 out of Fort Worth, Texas. Another 5-star, Dallas Turner out of St. Aquinas Hospital, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, defensive end, 6'4", 245. They got the best player out of the state of Michigan, Damian Payne, defensive tackle, 6'4", 300. And this is the guy out of Pinson Valley that everybody wanted, Kool-Aid McKenzie.
A personal touch, a high level of trust.
180. He's a 5-star. Then they got a wide receiver at IMG Academy again, Ja'Cory Brooks, 6'3", 185. And the guy they flipped from LSU yesterday is a guy named JoJo Earl, wide receiver, 5'10", 170. He's a 4-star. So everybody they got is pretty much either a 5-star or a 4-star.
So they got everybody that was committed, and then they got a couple, 2 from LSU that LSU thought they had.
Yeah. The quarterback they brought in is the number 1 dual threat quarterback in the country. His name's Jalen Milroy out of Katy, Texas. He's a 4-star. 6'3", 206.
Yeah. You know, those are factories out of Texas. That's the places where they the kid, when he gets into 7th grade, he's automatically held back a year. You know, they do that. I mean, some of these factories in Texas, that's what they do. They're manufacturing players.
Let me ask you this, Michael. If you got the list in front of you, out of those 18, how many are from the state of Alabama?
225, 4-star. They got a defensive tackle out of Ramsey. Ramsey's right next to my old church, St. Mary's Episcopal. Let's see. They got a big defensive tackle out of Robert E. Lee High School, Anquan Barnes.
Yeah, he's supposed to be good.
That's 1, 2, 3.
The defensive back is from Alabama, right? Kool-Aid?
Yeah, Kool-Aid's 4. I'm just trying to look at the rest of the list.
That's all right.
They got the Lawson kid, the great linebacker out of Mobile Christian, 6'3", 225. He's a 4-star. Looks like maybe 5, 6 players out of Alabama.
That's actually more than they've been getting. But really, the point is, Saban recruits nationally like no. That's the difference between him and Alabama's players. Used to be 90. Will, you can talk about this. 90% of that roster would have come from the state of Alabama in the 60s and 70s.
Well,
can you imagine these Meyer are twins? One of them's 6'3", 275. He's the center. He's a 4-star. And then his brother is 6'6", 285, and he's an offensive tackle. Can you imagine?
and one of them's a 5-star and one of them's a 4-star, or are they both?
Yeah. Their dad was a Texas graduate, and the mom was a Texas graduate, and the grandparents were Texas
Oh,
graduates.
gosh.
That's why Tom Herman's catching so much heat.
Isn't that amazing? All right, let's look at Auburn.
I like the linemen. If they pay off eventually.
Michael, are they going to Alabama, the Twins?
Yeah, they're going to Alabama.
Yeah. They're part of the number 1 recruiting class.
You know why Alabama offense is so good this year? Well, there's a lot of reasons. Devontae Smith, Mac Jones, and Najee. But really, it's the offensive line is awesome. Pass blocking and run blocking. So, you just...
Bill, Mac Jones just stands back there. I bet he hadn't been sacked 2 or 3 times.
I know it.
Yeah, that's right.
So you stockpile these good linemen, and, some of them are going to be able to play right away, and some of them it takes a couple years.
I want y'all to sit back and hear what I got to say here. Not a single offensive running back was in that recruiting class. Can you believe that? No running back. So I reckon they think they got a stockpile, or it's telling me that a lot of these guys are going to come back.
Well, they got 3 that are the 2 guys that have been doing mop-up duty the last couple of weeks look like superstars of the future. Then you got the kid that was hurt in the car wreck that was a 5-star from IMG.
They must think they're going to get him back, hopefully.
Well, they're going to. Brian Robinson, the backup's going to come back, is what I'm hearing, so he can, put up numbers. He's been behind Najee and some other great running backs.
And he is looking a lot better this year, wouldn't you say? I mean, compared to.
Yeah. Here's the breakdown, Bill. If you want to know, Alabama got 6 guys from Florida, 5 guys from Alabama, 5 guys from Texas, 2 from Maryland, 1 from Georgia, 1 from Louisiana. Well, it says 1 from Louisiana, but I guess the other guy they flipped was out of Florida from LSU. Yeah. 1 from Michigan, 1 from Mississippi, 1 from Ohio, and 1 from South Carolina.
Well, that is something. That is something, and we'll go over Auburn's recruiting.
That's the Alabama and Saban brand working for you.
This Auburn fans, this is very important. But I would think a lot of these kids are waiting to see who's going to get the job at Auburn. Auburn needs to make some kind of commitment, Mike, maybe today or tomorrow.
I want to hear. Let's poll the room. Who do y'all think is going to eventually get that job at Auburn? Who do you think, Mike? Have you got?
Well, I would say if they're smart, they would go after Lane Kiffin.
Mm-hmm. You think that's who they'll get?
Because he gives them some real good exposure.
Let me tell you what I heard since the show. Max is on Lane Kiffin. I think Lane Kiffin would be a spectacular hire for Auburn. They're really interested in Cristobal, and Cristobal, there are 12 teams in the Pac-12. Okay? Mm-hmm. Cristobal has got the 10th lowest salary in the Pac-12, that's hard to believe. In Oregon, you would think he would be one of the highest paid ones. But they're meeting today at 10 o'clock on one thing, the Board of Trustees, to redo his contract and give him a pile of money. So I think Auburn has made a play for him, and he's using that going to try to get money.
money from Phil Knight, the founder of Nike?
He might get some money to stay.
All right, here's Auburn. Here's Auburn's recruits. Auburn is ranked 40th nationally in recruiting, which is horrible.
That's terrible.
They've signed
They'll have a hard time jumping back. But you know what? That means this COVID-19, though, might save Auburn's program because they can get these players they already had back.
Mm-hmm.
And if they did, this was a regular year, it would be devastating.
Hey, they've only signed 11 guys so far. Lee Hunter is there probably Saturday or Sunday.
Perfect. Have a good week.
All right.
Listen now, we don't. Go ahead and get your coffee and your scrambled egg and toast, Will.
I was letting my dogs off at the groomer.
Okay, Will.
You got my undivided attention now.
Auburn's top recruit is a guy named Lee Hunter. He's a big defensive tackle, 6'5", 292, 4-star out of Blunt. Then they got a guy named Amar Harvey out of Tallahassee, 5'10.5", 171 safety. He's a 4-star. Demetrius Davis out of Houston, Texas is a 4-star. He's a dual threat quarterback. Marquez Robinson, defensive tackle, 6'3", 300 out of Milton, Florida. Milton, Florida's just right down the road, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's right.
And then you got Hill Presley out of Arlington, Texas, wide receiver, 6'3", 190. He's a 3-star. They got a kid out of Kansas City, Missouri, defensive end, 6'5", 250. He's a 3-star. All the rest of these guys are 3-stars.
And that's what makes Troy look good. Troy's getting the same players that Auburn's getting. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Auburn only has, according to 24/7, they've only got 4 4-stars, and the rest of the 7 scholarships they signed yesterday are 3 stars. That's not good.
Yeah, and the big boys. If you want to play with the big boys, you better be getting 4- and 5-star guys. Is that right?
And Mike, Ole Miss got a top 10. Ole Miss has got a top 10 recruiting class.
Wow.
They're coming on.
I noticed that Florida has a number 7 ranked class.
Yeah.
Tell us, of course.
It seems like LSU, they have a lot of.
LSU's got a big recruit class.
Well, they've got a lot of duress and stuff going on in that program, and NCAA issues and people leaving. I don't know. It seems like the rats would be scurrying from that ship. Maybe, guess not.
Bill, they're having a good recruiting year though. They're in the top 5.
So, all right, give me those top 5 recruiting classes.
Teams.
Alabama, Georgia, and LSU are in the top 5.
All right, Alabama, Georgia, and LSU.
I was trying to see where Troy ranks.
I think Clemson's up there too, and Ohio State's up there.
Yeah, that would be my 5, I'd guess.
Yeah, Troy. I thought they'd be. I thought Troy'd be higher, but Troy's in like around 80 in recruiting.
Well, that's out of 130 or 40 or something.
120.
Yeah, that's not so bad nationally, I don't think. Again, I was trying to see if you could tell if Ole Miss was holding back on some of their recruits.
Do y'all really think that Kiffin would go get this job at Ole Miss and then in 1 year leave them?
For a couple of $1 million a year more, I would think.
All right.
Your money talks, evidently, you know.
They have to buy him out, buy out his contract too.
And of course, Troy.
It'd be interesting to see what his buyout is. That's a good question.
Yeah. Mike, who do you think Auburn's going to get?
I mean, I said it yesterday. I feel like Call's been married to Larry Blakeney, and I think Neil Brown's trying to get out of West Virginia. I think he's trying to come back to the state of Alabama.
You think that they might try to pull Brown to Auburn? Wouldn't that be something?
He'd be a good coach.
Golly, I hadn't even thought about that one. That's a good one. Interesting.
How many more years
He's been at West Virginia 2 years. I think he's probably realizes he can't beat
You know what? You're right.
He'd probably do good, yeah.
You're right.
Well, is anybody seriously considering Bill Clark? I mean, I just don't understand why he doesn't get any consideration.
You know what Max said. You know what Max said, and I sort of disagree, but he might be right. He says he's not in that caliber yet, Clark. But I disagree. I think he's a pretty good coach.
Well, the record proves it.
But you know what I'm saying? He might not carry the big stick like a lot of coaches would.
He gets no attention.
Here's your top 25 recruiting as far as top 25 rankings, if you want to hear it.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
California is number 25.
California. And any of these 25 are pretty. That's pretty big for anybody. Go ahead.
Now, Nebraska and Scott Frost are 24. Was Scott Frost lead Nebraska for somewhere? He was pretty good at Central Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I think he wants to turn the corner at Nebraska.
Pittsburgh's 23. That's pretty good for Pittsburgh.
Yeah. This is out of 140 schools.
130.
Iowa's number 20. Iowa's number 22, Penn State number 21. James Franklin has a $32 million buyout, Will. We talked about that yesterday. Yeah.
So,
how about Sam Pittman in Arkansas? Ranked 20th. Pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it sure is. Arkansas ought to be...
Maryland and former Alabama offensive coordinator Mike Locksley, 19th.
Wow.
From Maryland.
He's supposed to be a great recruiter.
And ladies and gentlemen, if you hear the top 25, we're talking about the top 25 recruiting classes. That means they are getting 25 within the top 25 are the best athletes in America. Go ahead.
Keep in mind, we're on 24/7 sports recruiting, which is one of the top in the country. But ESPN has ranked teams differently as well. Ole Miss is at 18th. They're higher in some polls.
That's
Texas
really good.
Texas is number 17. You would think Texas would be in the top 10 normally. Wisconsin number 16. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Very, very low for Texas.
Texas should be in the top 5 every year.
And another thing, we might see the writing on the wall. If Ole Miss, was able to recruit those guys and sign those guys, that's telling me the Lane Kiffin's going to stay at home.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee's at 15. They were top 10 forever, but had a lot of guys that ended up flipping.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. You're right.
How about Matt Brown at North Carolina, 14?
You know what? He has just done marvels. I would have thought he was too old, but he has proven that he's the real deal at North Carolina.
So far.
Former Auburn grad and undefeated head coach Clay Helton at USC, 13.
That is pretty good, too.
I like Clay Helton, the way he approaches things and talks, and it seems like a class fella.
Mr. Khaki Pants, number 12.
Oh, and that's why they call him Khaki Pants, the head coach at Michigan.
I thought it was a done deal that he was out of there at Michigan.
But again...
Bill, I think the Detroit Lions are going to hire him.
Mike, what is his buyout at Michigan?
I don't know. I'd have to look and see. Number 11, the $75 million man, Jimbo Fisher, A&M.
And what number is he now again?
Number 11.
A&M's got the 11th best.
Okay, I got you.
That Diaz guy can recruit. Miami's in the top 10. Of course, it's pretty easy to recruit when you go 10 miles out of college.
Yeah, that's right. But you know what? Outside of say 50 miles, it's a demilitarized zone down there. I mean, it's but now within 50 miles of Miami, it's the best. A lot of people say it's the best football in America.
Notre Dame, number 9.
The Fighting Irish and Touchdown Jesus. They're getting the best Catholic athlete in America, Mike.
I don't think they're getting many Catholic athletes anymore.
You don't think so?
No, look at it.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Now, would you say that BYU is getting the top Mormon players in the country?
I would say that.
All right. Okay, go ahead, Mike.
Florida's number 8.
Florida is number 8 in the country recruiting class. And
Oklahoma's number 7. You know, a lot of people say that Lincoln Riley is the number 1 prospect for the NFL to go coach in the NFL. I wonder if he'd leave Oklahoma for an NFL job.
Well, they got that quarterback who's a freshman. They got him for the next 4 years.
Hey, I'll give y'all some trivia about Oklahoma. You know, I do a lot of research on football records all the time, and one thing I've looked at is who has the most wins since they had the AP poll was created, which I think was 1936. And I think that Oklahoma actually has one more win since 1936 than Alabama. So if Alabama could run the table, they might be the all-time winningest team in football since 1936. But I was surprised to learn that Oklahoma had that many wins.
Yeah, they of course under Bud Wilkinson and those great coaches, and there was another guy.
That's why everybody likes Cristobal. Oregon 6. Oregon, he's a great recruiter out of Oregon.
Oh boy, Oregon is 6th in the country. Who would have thought that?
Dabo and Clemson are 5th. Dabo's usually in the top 5 every year. He's a great recruiter. LSU and Orgeron still had a great class. They were 4.
So they're believing everything he says, Mike. They're believing everything that guy says, and he's probably carrying a heater with him.
Go Tigers!
Who wins that game this weekend between LSU and Ole Miss this weekend?
Boy, oh boy!
It's about to pick them. It's a toss-up.
But
Ole Miss wins by 14 points. Remember
that. Don't bet on it, ladies and gentlemen.
Ole Miss.
And then 24/7 had Georgia number 3, Ohio State number 2, and then the University of Alabama number 1.
So
4 SEC in the top 7 or 8, actually.
So you've got Alabama 1, Ohio State 2, Georgia 3, and LSU 4.
You know, I was watching the news, the Panama City Knicks last night, and they were talking about a kid at Georgia. He's the best linebacker, they say, in the state of Florida, and he was from Graceville.
Yeah, Graceville, Florida. Yeah.
Wow.
Boy, right there, we got some of the best shrimp in the country. Those 2 restaurants there in Graceville.
But he was, he had 4 caps out. He was down to Alabama, Georgia, Florida, and LSU. And they told the story afterwards, though. He played until his junior year at Graceville, and then his senior year, he went to IMG Academy.
Okay. All right, now who did he go with? Who did he sign with?
He signed with Georgia, but I mean, I just thought that's a small school to have such a great player.
No question about it, but that's very interesting.
Someone has to explain how this IMG Academy works. I mean, who is giving all these scholarships? I guess it's the company is paying for all these kids to come, and then they just assume that 3 or 4 years down the road that they're going to sign as their contracts and use IMG as their agents, right?
Something I will tell you about is these are the 2 guys. This is why Alabama has the top recruiting class. These are the 2 brothers from Texas whose parents went to Texas and have all kinds of Texas connections. And they both are going to Alabama, and they're offensive linemen. And this is why Alabama is so good, ladies and gentlemen. If you look at their list, I bet they've got 10 offensive and defensive linemen on those lists. And the game is won at the line of scrimmage. We'll be back after these messages.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Merry Christmas from Steven Sanders Trucking. Merry Christmas from Wiley Sanders Truck Line. Are you ready for these
yes,
toys?
Yes, sir. Bring the toys to me. Merry
Let's
Christmas.
have fun. Merry Christmas. Let's have fun. Hurry, boys and girls. Hurry. It's what time of the year?
Christmas time.
And And what do we say?
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas to you from Wiley Sanders Truck Line and Stephen Sanders Trucking.
Let's make this the biggest toy drive ever. Townsend's, Troy Cable, Trojan Detail, those are your drop-off points.
Troy Cable Security Wi-Fi doorbell camera allows you to answer the door from your smartphone when you are at home, at work, or on the go. When a visitor presses the button, Troy Cable Security sends a live video feed to your smartphone so you can see, hear, and speak to the person at your door. With the doorbell camera, you can have your porch light turn on automatically when it detects motion at night to create the appearance that someone is at home. You can view video clips so you can always know who stopped by when you are out. Troy Cable Security. You love them, protect them.
Back to our show, brought to you by Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks on the bypass. Nobody beats a Premier deal. I mean, I'm talking about nobody. And, of course, Wiley Sanders Truck Lines wishes each and every one of you a wonderful Christmas season and a Merry Christmas to all. And we've got the big trailer sitting right out in front of us here on South Frontage Street. Need some bicycles. We need some toys to give to some underprivileged children, and let's do your heart well, and it'll do your heart well to drop by and give a gift, a toy for kids that don't have the opportunity to get toys for Christmas.
So they got somebody at that truck all throughout the day?
Well, they could come over here and talk to somebody from Troy Cable. They could probably tell them where to get the information. But I think probably during the next week, it's going to be pretty busy over there. And again, the turkeys from heaven. And I tell you what, the lady that puts this on is one of the most wonderful human beings I know. And we appreciate what she's done for not only this program, but a lot of other programs in Pike County. And again, turkeys from heaven. And what you do, you go by Piggly Wiggly, and you buy a turkey and says, I want to donate this turkey to Turkeys for Heaven, from heaven, and they'll be cooking those. Isn't that right, Steve? They'll be cooking those turkeys, or will they just give it? Will they be cooking them?
Yeah. On December 22nd.
On the 22nd of December, they'll be cooking those turkeys. Cooking and delivering on the 22nd. And that is what we're leading up to. So go ahead and buy your turkey, and they'll bring it over here and they'll cook it for the people, and it'll be sent out all over Pike County and surrounding area. Will Matthews calling us in from Dothan.
Let's go over some games with Will. He's a guru.
All right, here we go. Yes, sir.
And,
all right, we're ready.
UAB at Marshall. This game will be tomorrow night. This game will be at Marshall. It'll probably be about 25 degrees.
That right there means that's going to hurt UAB, right?
It should.
The game starts at 6 o'clock. Marshall is a 4.5-point favorite only against UAB.
And that's on Friday. That's tomorrow. And but Marshall for some reason went down on hard times the last couple of games. What do y'all think?
They got blown out by Rice, but they had 5 interceptions.
Yeah. Okay.
I think if they were playing in Birmingham, UAB would win. But since they're playing up in that frigid West Virginia with this cold front,
the coach being
Alabama
named,
boys aren't going to like that.
And the coach being named Doc Holliday. That's scary, isn't it?
That is scary.
Yeah, that's a great name.
All right, I'll take Marshall. Will, who do you like?
I like UAB.
All right, Will likes UAB. All right, Mike, and then who do you like, Mike?
I'll take Marshall.
All right, Marshall, and then Rice. Who do you like?
Just because of the cold weather, Marshall.
Marshall, okay. The Thundering Herd. All right, next game.
You got a Big Ten. It doesn't matter, but it's Nebraska 2-5 against Rutgers 3-5. Schiano's done a good job at Rutgers.
I wouldn't doubt. Listen to this. I wouldn't doubt. Where's that game played?
It's in Rutgers, and Nebraska's a 6.5-point favorite.
Give me Rutgers. I'm gonna take Rutgers. They were Rutgers and Princeton played in the first game. Y'all know that, don't you?
Talk about history. I look at Alabama's all-time record of wins on the field, and I look at the other top 10 programs. Nebraska's one of them. Well, you look, Alabama's 10-0. Nebraska's, Michael just told us, is 2-5. So Alabama has picked up 8 games over Nebraska.
Boy, Scott Frost has not proven himself at all at Nebraska. Had those great teams at Central Florida. All right, who you like, Will?
I like Rutgers. I'm with you.
I like Rutgers too, and this guy's he's got a way of coaching that bunch. Okay, Mike, who do you like?
I'll say Rutgers. You got the Pac-12 championship game. Oregon 3-2.
I'm gonna take Nebraska, by the way.
All right, okay. Rice takes Nebraska.
Oregon 3-2 against USC 5-0. This is the Pac-12 championship game. USC is a 3-point favorite against Oregon.
I'm gonna take Oregon.
USC.
All right. USC. Rice takes USC. All right. Who do you like?
Is that game in Los Angeles, Michael?
I don't think they can play games in Los Angeles.
I'm gonna say USC.
Very important on where that game's being played. You're right.
It's being played in the new stadium that the Rams have.
Yeah. The sad thing about this is, that another team was going to play instead of Oregon, and they decided they didn't want to play. Can you believe that?
Really?
Well, what happened was Oregon and Washington were supposed to play, but the game got canceled due to COVID.
Yeah, all right, my bad.
Washington still had COVID issues, even though Washington was 3-1 and Oregon was 3-2. Because Washington wasn't able to play, they had to take the team that was second best, I guess, record-wise, and that was Oregon.
Right.
All right, who do you like, Will?
I like Southern Cal, I think.
Southern Cal.
Southern Cal just has won a lot of close games, so they'll win.
They were down 28-10 to UCLA in the second half. I watched some of that game. I mean, UCLA looked like they were going to blow them out.
Yeah.
And USC came all the way back and beat them on the last second touchdown.
Yeah, that's a tough
The
blow.
biggest
for those of us who had UCLA, that was a tough one.
Ladies and gentlemen, while we're talking about this league out there, the biggest embarrassment of all time has got to be this. Arizona State 70, Arizona 7. That was last score.
They fired the coach.
Can you believe that they would get beat that bad? Arizona's program's gone that bad.
State rivalry, yeah.
All right, last one, Mike. Who do you like on USC and Oregon?
I think USC. All right, you got the battle for the the Big Ten. Even though they have 12 teams in their league, they're still called the Big Ten for some reason. Northwestern against Ohio State. Northwestern 6-1. Ohio State's 5-0. Ohio State is now a 19-point favorite.
Now, they play good defense, but I don't think they can stop Ohio State. Ohio State will win.
Yeah.
Ohio State.
All right, Will.
Great game here. Iowa State against Oklahoma. Iowa State beat Oklahoma already this year. Oklahoma's 5.5-point favorite. I'll take Oklahoma.
All right, I didn't get Will's pick on the Northwestern game.
Everybody's taking Ohio State.
Okay, I got you. All right, go ahead. Oklahoma's playing who?
Oklahoma playing Iowa State. Iowa State's already beat Oklahoma this year. Oklahoma's a 5.5-point favorite.
Give me Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma might be one of the top 4 teams in the nation right now.
Yeah. Me too.
I like Oklahoma. Will, you like Oklahoma?
You know what? I like Iowa State. I think they got a better coach.
Well, they might.
I like the coach at
He is
Iowa
good.
State.
All right.
All right, this is Jeremy Pruitt's last stand. Tennessee will host A&M. A&M is a 14-point favorite.
You know, I got a feeling here. I'm not crazy about A&M. I'm going to pick the huge upset. I'm going to take Tennessee.
Are we picking straight up or against the spread? I guess straight up.
No, straight up.
Well, I mean, basically you just say, I like A&M to win, but I like Tennessee to cover is what I like.
Okay.
All right, we'll find out. All right, who else?
I like A&M to win and A&M to cover. I watched A&M against Auburn, watched that game closely, especially in the second half. A&M's offensive line is awesome. Their left guard is one of the best linemen that's come through the SEC in a long time.
That's what I've heard from a lot of other people, that A&M's offensive line. Let me ask this: does the coach lose his job if he loses to A&M?
No. I mean, it depends on how bad they want Hugh Freeze.
So when he comes to Banks, Alabama, can we have a barbecue down at the barbecue pit in downtown Banks?
Banks, all right.
Yeah, we have a big party for the coach, for the Tennessee coach.
All right. Here's my upset of the week. Louisiana Lafayette will play at Coastal Carolina on their home field. Coastal Carolina is a 3.5-point favorite. Give me Lafayette to win straight up.
Oh, Mike Amos got Lafayette to win straight up. I'm going to do the same thing. No, I'm not. I'm going to take CC. Give me CC.
I'm going to take Lafayette.
All right, Lafayette. All right. How about you, Will?
I'm going with Lafayette.
All right, Lafayette.
Who did Rice go with?
I went with Lafayette.
Lafayette. I'm the only one that took Coastal Carolina. They playing on that blue field, or that whatever you call it.
Yep. Ole Miss at LSU. Ole Miss now is a 2.5-point favorite. This line started as Ole Miss is the underdog. Now Ole Miss is the favorite against LSU.
You can bet the house on Ole Miss.
All right, well that's Ole Miss, but you know what Pat Dye would have said, or he would have said, Ole Miss doesn't have the balls to play. That's what he would call it.
The guts.
The ball players. He said, I meant the ball players. Compared to LSU, compared to LSU, I'll take the ball players that play for LSU over Ole Miss. Go ahead.
What did he say? I missed this conversation.
I just got my throat got I had to loose my throat.
He just misspoke a little bit, but we all understand.
I'll take Ole Miss by a field goal.
What time's that game? That's going to be a great game to watch.
That's 2:30 CBS.
All right, go ahead. We got to move quickly.
I think I'm going to go with LSU after the momentum of the Florida win. LSU's offense can move the ball, and Ole Miss has a terrible defense.
I want to remind you that.
All right, LSU only got 40-something players.
I can't believe
Okay, I know, you're right.
Clemson, Notre Dame. Clemson's the 10.5-point favorite. I'll take Clemson.
Oh, boy. I'm going to take Clemson. But look out. This is a tough one here. What time's this game, Mike?
3 o'clock.
All right, you got to move on.
I like Clemson.
Go ahead.
Clemson's
going to.
Clemson.
Everybody got Clemson? Or you, Mike?
Yeah.
Interesting game. I got Clemson, yeah. Interesting game here. Tulsa 6-1 against Cincinnati 8-0. Tulsa's pretty good, but they're a 14-point underdog against Cincinnati.
Cincinnati, all the way. Cincinnati.
Yeah. Then the game we all want to watch. Alabama now at 17, over under 74.5 against Florida. I say Alabama wins by 20.
I think you can. I don't know if I would take under 74.5 and give the points. That's where I would look.
I've looked at Florida's results the last 2 years. They've lost a couple games, but they don't ever get beat by more than 18 points. So,
74.5 points is a lot of points.
Take Alabama, but Florida is going to keep it under the number.
What do you think about the over-under if the score at the half, Alabama 35, Florida 21?
Yeah, I know it.
Now what do you think?
Yeah.
Blow that scoreboard wide open.
You're exactly right. So you like it over?
I like it over. I think it'll go in the 90-point range.
Oh, gosh. We talk about 45 to 44?
Yeah.
It's going to be high scoring.
And what Mike, give us the time and the temperature for that game.
And think about
7 o'clock on CBS.
7 o'clock. Will, you going to be down at the Yellow House, or where are you going to watch this game?
I'm going to be at the Yellow House, and it's on that fast track in the dome with 70-degree temperatures. It's going to be perfect, no wind.
You know, I know you're a teetotaler, but you'll definitely have some Thomas's Donuts at the Yellow House if somebody wants to drop by and get one. Is that right?
closed. I went by the other day.
Oh, they're closed for the season?
Yes, they're closed till February.
Well, there's plenty of Whaley pecans up there at the carousel. They got a lot of Whaley pecans up there.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Florida is going to try to win the Heisman for their quarterback. Alabama's going to try to win their Heisman for either Devontae or Mac Jones, one of those.
You know what? You're exactly right. One of these guys is going to get the Heisman.
And they're going to throw it every play.
Yeah. Can Jones do it? Can Jones do it? Everybody going to take Alabama here? Everybody going to take Florida?
Nobody's going to take Florida after losing.
All right, everybody takes Alabama. And ladies and gentlemen, that will do it. And I hope that you've enjoyed our show today. And we're going to have a big Pickett show, Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks. Picks of the week right here on Troy Cable tomorrow morning starting at 7 o'clock. Yours truly, Ronald Rice and Will and Michael Amos and maybe Forrest Lee going to be telling you who's going to, or I'm going to tell you who's going to win this weekend in college football. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.